Fox News alert: the tragic mystery of Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 may soon be coming to an end. This wing fragment washed up on a French island off the southeast coast of Africa. Air safety investigators have identified it as coming from a Boeing 777, the same model that disappeared in March last year, with 239 people on board. Those investigators will examine the fragment before taking it to Boeing headquarters in southern France. That could take 24 hours or more, and until then, they are being cautious about confirming it's part of that missing plane. We will bring you any information on this story as we get it.
This is Outnumbered. I'm Andrea Tanteros, and here with us today, Sandra Smith. From our sister network, Fox Business's Elizabeth McDonald. Actress Stacey Dash is back. And today's hashtag One Lucky Guy stand-up comedian, writer, and actor Ryan Reese. And Ryan, for the first time, you're outnumbered. Welcome.
Yes. Wow. Look at this.
A stand-up comic sitting down on the couch.
I am clearly the ugliest person on the couch today.
Stop.
Are you being funny?
You're not supposed to agree. You're supposed to laugh.
No,
She's like, yes, you are.
No,
Yeah.
you are not. But I did hear that you're friends with our stage manager, Patch. So I don't know. We love Patch. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad
We have the same
thing.
probation officer, so we're fine.
We are
a lot.
for a wild ride today.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Brand new polls show Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton losing some strength. The former Secretary of State is still doing well against her primary rivals, but if an election were held today, she'd be virtually tied with former Florida Governor Jeb Bush and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker. That's down from significant leads that she had over both of them back in May. Now, she still beats the current GOP frontrunner, Donald Trump, but across nearly every key metric, she's seeing an erosion in public approval since May. Now, when it comes to whether she's honest and trustworthy, look at this, a 2-point drop, with a majority of voters, 57%, saying that she's not. Her numbers are also down when it comes to strong leadership. And as to whether she cares about people's needs and problems, a majority says that she doesn't. This, as a spokesman for the Select Committee on Benghazi, confirms that Clinton will testify before the panel on October 22nd. And as the State Department is getting set to release a third batch of Clinton's emails tomorrow. Now, her longtime spokesman also handed over 20 boxes of work-related emails recently, some from a personal email account. All right, Ryan, I'm going to go to you first on this one. She's having a little bit of trouble.
A little bit.
She can't seem to escape some of these scandals, and I think it's because she won't really sit down with the press. She hasn't been transparent, and she's changed her story a lot, including getting caught in a big lie at that press conference, and the server's still missing. These numbers are really eroding.
All right, so let's first address the issue of her numbers falling. I mean, she is an older candidate, so I'm sure she's familiar with falls. At this point, I think we're going to have to get her life alert. I think that's... Help, my numbers are down and I can't get them back up.
Well, there you go.
These emails. Thank you. You can laugh out loud. Go ahead. You don't have to hold it in. So I think as far as with the emails, this is like a crazy nightmare scenario. They keep releasing these emails like every week. It's like a new episode of The Walking Dead. You know, it's like, what's going to happen this week? 20,000, how many?
Over 20,000 emails,
Over
correct.
20, are they all
now,
LinkedIn
remember though,
invitations? Why?
Remember though, Sandra, she deleted 30,000. So she's handing over some emails. She's already cherry-picked the ones that she doesn't want anybody to see. But what do you think is behind this drop? Because
Is it much of a drop, though,
slow.
Andrea? We're not talking about a significant plunge in the polls. We're still looking at a majority of Americans who are surveyed here who believe that she would be a strong leader for this country. 58% of respondents said that she would be a strong leader. So despite everything that she has gone through, she's still polling pretty well.
Well, she's the only real Democratic, I mean, she's the only one who's running for real. I mean, the only Democratic person that could possibly run the country. I don't see anyone else, you know, that's any competition.
But her campaign, Andrea, has spent all this time and money and invested all this time and money in reaching out to the everyday American. She's trying to tell the everyday American, I'm there for you. You struggled in this economic recovery. I'm there for you. And meanwhile, a majority of Americans now believe that she does not care about their needs or problems or people like them. So she is getting hit, and it's in the area where it hurts her the most.
Yeah, Emac, I mean, I think the reason why this is important is because just a couple months ago, the only Republican that could beat her was Rand Paul.
Yeah,
we covered that story right here. Now you have these candidates that are struggling on the Republican side to get some traction against Donald Trump, and they are beating her. That's where as someone who's worked on campaigns, that's where my mind's going.
Yeah, yes. And, the number one thing that wins elections for, presidential contenders is can they relate to the average person? And the fact that her poll numbers drop there is really serious because, in trying to get out and front run the email scandals and the Clinton Foundation scandals, Hillary has been rolling out practically every other week giveaways by the U.S. government, tax giveaways or credits or, free, tuition or whatever it is. And that doesn't seem to be working right now. The American voter walks into the polling booth or the voting booth and says, can I relate to this candidate? What can this candidate do for me? And if her numbers drop there, I don't know what her strategy is going forward.
Well, Hillary just got a $600 haircut, and I can relate to that. I don't know about you guys.
What's so crazy about that, Stacey, that $600 haircut, is this at the same time she's trying to convince voters that she's working for the middle class and the average American. And this is something that her husband found himself caught in. Remember, Bill Clinton stopped all the traffic at LAX airport.
What about John
Meanwhile,
Edwards?
she flies private jets.
But remember, Bill Clinton stopped to get that haircut in LA with Christophe, and it was this national scandal. She hasn't learned the lesson of her husband. That's hubris at its peak.
She doesn't learn lessons.
Well,
this woman is incapable.
Is it worth $600? Have you seen her hair? I mean, are you looking at it?
You do wear your hair every day, Ryan.
She's the most solipsistic person.
I'm asking your opinion, though. Like, do you think
I think she lives in a bubble and believes every word that she says, and it just bounces off and reverberates back to herself.
A $600 bubble with hair on top that's been cut by the best. All right, meanwhile, more trouble for Hillary Clinton, according to the Wall Street Journal. Get this, Swiss banking giant UBS dramatically increased its donations to the Clinton Foundation after then Secretary of State intervened in a lawsuit the IRS had filed against the bank to get the identities of Americans with secret accounts. Now, Secretary Clinton helped UBS negotiate a very favorable deal with the IRS in 2009. UBS's donations to the Clinton Foundation then subsequently rose from $60,000 in 2008 to some $600,000 by the end of 2014. A Clinton campaign spokesman telling our own Ed Henry that Mrs. Clinton did in fact intervene, but that was only because the Swiss government raised this issue with the Secretary of State. Now, UBS denies any connection between the legal case and its donations. Sandra, I'm going to go to you first on this. This looks incredibly shady.
The numbers go beyond the donation amounts that you just said that totaled $600,000 by the end of 2014. You're also looking at the bank joining the Clinton Foundation to launch this entrepreneurship and inner city loan program through which it lent $32 million. It paid Bill Clinton $1.5 million to participate in this series of Q&A sessions with the UBS chief executive, Bob McCann. We know that, right?
Yeah.
Right, Liz? It made UBS his biggest single corporate source of speech income disclosed since he left the White House. Wow. The numbers go way beyond just the donations specifically to the foundation.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying, the Clinton camp, EMAC, is saying that, look, the only reason that Clinton got involved is because on a ministerial level, the Swiss intervened, but it was right after Clinton intervened and they settled that, all the cash started to flow.
It's interesting. And, the Clinton camp could say, well, we were negotiating over the release of, Guantanamo Bay hostages or detainees into Switzerland, or, it was over Iran dealings. I mean, is that enough of an argument, though, or in defense? Because this is direct dealings with UBS. And UBS was having a fight with the Department of Justice, I think, going back to 2007 over secret Swiss bank accounts. So after the fact, for the Clintons to get involved with UBS, wow, that is a politically dicey move.
Yeah, and I mean, Stacey,
what did they
this seems very typical Clinton, and I say that because they do these scandals on such grandiose levels. I mean, this is such a big deal. You heard Sandra mention the numbers. It's almost as if they do things so big that you won't believe them. Because they're just so big. You think, like, who would ever do something like this? It's so obvious. The Clintons.
And there's so many questions to ask. You're not just quite sure how do you pin them down, which is why I love Trey Gowdy and the fact that he is not going to go after Hillary Clinton half-cocked. He's going to make sure he is fully loaded and ready to just put her away. And I can't wait.
Put her away? Put her away where?
Put her away for Benghazi, for everything that she's done wrong.
I didn't know you meant like maybe in the big house.
Close
no.
her.
I mean, yeah,
Close
nail
the
her.
book.
Close the book.
Okay.
Yeah, close the book on her.
Because
put
a lot
her
of
away.
people think-
Just
a lot of
I'm
people
sick
think
of
that
hearing about her. You know, just put her away.
But I think we're going to continue to hear
On a
about her. The
shelf.
She
question
needs a
is,
good
though,
defense. She needs to relate more. She
Does
should
the
come
set-
out
a
and
good
just say, hey,
defense.
it's just 10 haircuts. I don't know why everyone's so upset.
Yeah, like, what difference does it make?
So UBS, to be fair, their response to all these insinuations, they called them ludicrous and without merit. You'll remember how Bill Clinton responded, Andrea, when he was asked if foundation donors ever sought anything from the State Department. His initial response was, I don't know. So he didn't really paint a clear picture.
UBS, by the way, paid a more than $750 million fine over this secret bank account.
This is a big issue, and it doesn't seem like the Clintons are going to want to address this like they have with all the other questions around the Clinton Foundation. But it seems to be a pattern that I think they're going to eventually, at least she is going to have to answer for. All right, growing outrage as another illegal immigrant is suspected of murder after testifying on a crime spree. The whole story and the impact of this shocking case on the illegal immigration debate that's heating up across the country. And right after the show, catch more from this couch. It's called Outnumbered Overtime. You log on to foxnews.com/the OT tab. Tweet us some questions, some comments, even some jokes, or some, I don't know, statement t-shirt ideas. I'm taking your ideas.